Hello, Lions and Leos from all over the world. Thank you so much for joining us for this first ever virtual Lions Diabetes Symposium hosted by 5 Lions clubs from New Jersey. The Edison Visionary Lions Club, Menlo Park Lions Club, Old Bridge Visionary, Middlesex Visionary, and New Jersey Fitness Lions Clubs, along with their affiliated Leo clubs. It's a pleasure to have you wherever you're joining us from all over the world. It truly is a privilege to have you. And today we're going to be on a global cause of Lions Club International. Briefly, I'm going to give a background on why we care about this issue and what Lions are doing about it all across the world. As we saw in the previous video, Lions across the world are making an incredible impact on diabetes, both at the local and international levels. As part of our centennial celebration from 2016 to 2017, at our convention in Chicago, our 100th anniversary, we caused and refocused ourselves on the issues most pressing our communities. There was a statistic that 1 in 2 people who have diabetes is undiagnosed. That represents a population of almost 220 million people, or about 2/3 of the population of the United States, who don't know about this life-changing disease that really can be avoidable if it's detected early. I know from my own experience in my family and my community the life-changing impact that this has, and it's our job to make sure that we can avert this for as many people as possible. Since 2017, Lions have been working side by side with community partners and Leos to avert diabetes, raise awareness, and generally make this cause the best that it can be so that we can hopefully serve as many people as possible. Today, we're joined by a number of great speakers from all over the United States and possibly all over the world, and I truly hope for a great session today. I'm going to turn it over to our first speaker to hear a brief introduction and a brief background on this project. I'm going to turn it over to Lion Mahesh Chitnis, who is past council chair from New Jersey and who serves as the Global Action Team area leader for Constitutional Area 1F.
Thank you, Ojas. Thank you for hosting this event and kicking off all the proceedings for today. Greetings, all the Lions, Leos, and guests from all over the world. Today is an important day of the year. Diabetes is a silent disease. It affects a lot of people, but since there are no visible signs of the disease, it is usually goes undetected and people don't take it seriously. I'm sure each one of you who are on the call know someone or the other very close in your family and friend who has diabetes. But sometimes we ourselves don't take it seriously. Forget about the world, it happened with me. I did not have any of the signs or any of the risk factors for diabetes. But a few years back, about 6-7 years back, when I was becoming the district governor for Lions in my district, I went for my installation in Toronto. By the end of the day, I started feeling very, very tired. And I just felt it is because of the stress and I was running around in convention and so on. But after I came back to New Jersey, I realized that it is getting little too much, and I went to my family physician to find out that I had a very, very high blood sugar. My A1C was 14 when it is supposed to be under 6, and I had no symptoms. I had no risk factors and symptoms, but that is what makes it more risky. We don't know till it is sometimes too late. And for that, having that awareness around the world is very, very important. Ojas did talk about a staggering statistics on how many people in the world are getting affected. But it is not just the number, it is the life of each one of us. And that is why these 5 clubs that Ojas mentioned, we came together and decided to have that awareness campaign, not only for today as American Diabetes Association's Diabetes Alert Day, but we will continue doing that with various aspects throughout the year to let people know that this is a serious disease and we need to take care of that right at the onset, even when we are pre-diabetic at sometimes. We have a speaker, Dr. Abhijit, will talk about the difference between diabetic and pre-diabetic patients. So please take that seriously. We have very, very good speakers lined up today. And for the second session that we have planned for on April the 3rd. So please join and take advantage of all the knowledge that we have within the Lions organization and support each other to make it sure that like we all are healthy and we take care of each other. From there are so many resources that are coming forward to support the people who have diabetes and they are facing some hardships. Just one example is, again, we'll announce that later in the program today, but we have a lion here from the Old Bridge Visionary Lions Club. His name is Lion Sham, and his associate Lion Revti. They have announced that they will give the glucometer for free from anybody who is in New Jersey and needs one, to make sure that like everybody tests and gets the right diagnosis at the right time. They have also promised that like if you have uninsured and if you have hardship in buying the maintenance diabetes medication for a certain amount of time, they will give the medication for free. So please take advantage of that. The details would be announced a little later during the show, but please do that. And please remember that like this is again our core cause. And as Lions are, like, let me show this, dedicated to diabetes. Please work on making everybody aware, just to go and check your blood sugar at least once a year, if not more frequently. So thank you very much for joining, and stay healthy and stay happy always.
Thank you so much, PCC Mahesh. For those of you who don't have the privilege of knowing him, the shared last name does come with a shared household, and I know firsthand the impact that diabetes has had on my father, and I hope that others won't have to go through the same kinds of experiences as him. I'm going to turn it over now to our second speaker for today to hear remarks from past council chairman Jeff Gans of Multiple District 16, New Jersey. I've had the privilege of knowing him for many years. I think that if I were to say his full bio, it would go on for about 30 minutes, but I'm going to turn it over to PCC Gans, someone I've had the privilege of working very closely with over the past few years. Over to you.
Thank you. Hello, welcome to New Jersey. I'm Lion Jeff Gans, and I have diabetes. I'm one of approximately 904,000 people in New Jersey with diabetes. That's 12.5% of the adult population in New Jersey. Of these, an estimated 235,000 have diabetes but do not know it. In addition, an estimated 2.5 million people in New Jersey, 37.1% of the adult population, have prediabetes with blood glucose levels higher than normal, but not yet high enough to be diagnosed as diabetic. Every year, an estimated 39,000 people in New Jersey are diagnosed with diabetes. And diabetes and prediabetes cost an estimated $10.3 billion in New Jersey each year. The implications, as you've heard and will hear, of diabetes include heart disease, stroke, amputation, end-stage kidney disease, blindness, and death. Some years ago, my doctor told me I was pre-diabetic and should watch what I eat and lose some weight. I went on a special diet that I created. I called it Cake at 8. I heard about diets that eliminated fats. I heard about diets that eliminated carbohydrates. So my self-made diet eliminated both fats and carbohydrates. My diet consisted of a medium-sized breakfast, carrots or celery for lunch, and salad for dinner. Since it seemed that at 8 o'clock at night, I would constantly go looking for a snack, a nosh, I decided to save up all day and have cake each night at 8. I lost about 15 to 20 pounds with that diet in about 2 to 3 weeks. I went back to the doctor and I said, well, I've lost the weight. He said, well, congratulations. You're no longer pre-diabetic. You're now diabetic. So I returned to a normal diet, started taking metformin, then switched to insulin injections. I'm still struggling to control my glucose numbers, but I'm successfully controlling my cholesterol and my blood pressure. I see my doctor regularly. I see my eye doctor regularly. I've scheduled lab work. I will soon be resuming pre-pandemic regular dental appointments. When I first was diagnosed, I was scared. I felt like I received a death notice. I was concerned about a future of seeing children graduate and children marry. Now with modern science, daily testing, insulin, caring family and doctors, and symposiums like this, I know that there's hope for the future, a future of control of my diabetes, a future of family events, and a future of serving Lionism and community. I hope you enjoy the rest of the seminar. I thank the 5 clubs that have sponsored this program, our host, and also our guest speakers, which I think you'll be absolutely amazed, entertained, and you'll get something out of this and take back to your family, your friends, and your fellow Alliance members. Take care. Thank you. And have a good day.
Thank you so much, PCC Jeff, for those very inspiring words. And just to keep it short, I'm going to turn it directly over to our first Vice District Governor from my home district, well, District 16J, Lion Varsha Naik.
Hello. I was only 26 years old when I diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Life was not easy for me because I can't find diabetes education program or awareness program 20 years before. Rather, I don't want to find out because I was under stress and depression that I can't do anything in my life because I have a diabetes. After 4 or 5 years of having that fear, I decided to challenge myself. I decided to educate myself. I decided to find out the resources. And I found out that dance, fitness, or rather than fitness, exercise is the key to control your diabetes, to control your blood sugar. I started going to the gym and actively taking part into the aerobics lessons. There I found out dance education, or rather than dance fitness education, is the key. Basically, exercise is the key, I found out. And in 2010, I overcome with my fear and opened my own dance academy. And there I start teaching dance, and I start teaching dance fitness classes. In 2015, I decided to become a Zumba instructor, and I started my Zumba academy. I overcome with my fear of diabetes. I overcome with my fear that I can't do anything in my life. I manage my diabetes with self-control, healthy eating habits, exercise daily, and top of that, I'm enjoying and actively take part into the community event where I can educate people with diabetes. I overcome with the fear of diabetes. If I overcome with my fear, why not you? We have only one life and we have to fulfill our dreams in that life. So do exercise regularly. Have a healthy eating habits. Prevention is always better. Take care of yourself and take care of your blood sugar, and you can find out the way how you can manage your blood sugar. This is my story. Your story might be different.
Thank you so much, VDG Varsha. Without further ado, it's my privilege to turn it over to our first professional speaker for today, Dr. Abhijit Vilas Acharya, who was born into a family of doctors and completed his medical education in 2007 from the Maharashtra University of Medical Sciences, Nashik in India. He later did his MBA in Hospital Administration and Healthcare Management from the Dr. D.Y. Patel University, post-graduation diploma in Medical Tourism, and post-graduation in Medical Legal Systems from Symbiosis University. He has a state-of-the-art and well-equipped maternity, surgical, and general hospital in Koparangan, Maharashtra, India. He was the charter president of the Leo Club of Koparangan and chairing various esteemed positions in Leoism, like Leo District President and Leo Multiple Secretary. He then became a Lion in 2015. He was the best vice president of District D2 2007, and he later bagged the best president of Lions Multiple District 3234 award in 2018 to 2019. He's currently the Zone A chairperson in his district. Apart from Lions, he also works with an NGO called Team Vision, for which he appears as an exam writer for blind students. He writes articles for various local newspapers on medical topics as well. He's well known for his good oratory and communication skills and has delivered lectures over various medical and other topics. He's also a prolific anchor, as he's been a host for over 50 events for Lions, medical fraternity, and music shows. He loves music and has a huge collection of Indian classical and I'm sure contemporary music as well. He's happily married to Dr. Deepali, who helps him in all of his endeavors, and they are blessed with a son, Adish, who is a national silver medalist in karate. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome and present before you our today's speaker, a doctor, an administrator, a writer, blogger, an eminent speaker, and multifaceted personality. And I would say that more important than that is a Leo Lion, Dr. Abhijit Acharya.
Thank you so much, Ojas, for the kind words. I also thank my dear friend Lion Mahesh Chitnis for giving me this wonderful opportunity to communicate with you all. I congratulate all the 4 Lions clubs that are participating in this Lions Diabetes Symposium organized on the Diabetes Alert Day. Before we start, I remember on the very first day of my medical college, one of our professors told us a proverb which says, "There is never a may in military and must in medicine." In military, there is never such thing that there is a parade tomorrow and you may come. In military, it's always must. It's either yes or no. Whereas in medicine, there is never a must. There is always a may. There may be so and so symptoms. So we are now going to discuss about the disease called diabetes and the symptoms, complications, whatever I'm going to discuss. There is a possibility which you may have such symptoms and complications or probably may not. So let us set the ball rolling and proceed to the presentation. Can I have the presentation on screen? What is diabetes? Friends, diabetes is a metabolic disorder that affects the way your body uses food for energy. Normally, the sugar in food that you eat is digested and broken down into simple sugar. We all call it as glucose. Glucose circulates in your body when it waits to enter cells to be used as fuel. Insulin, a hormone that is secreted by the pancreas. The islet cells of your pancreas secrete a hormone that is called insulin. This insulin helps to move the glucose into cells. A healthy pancreas, if a healthy person consumes large amount of sugar, his pancreas will secrete excess amount of insulin. But if you have diabetes, this process breaks down, and blood sugar levels become high. Can I have the next slide, please? Now let us see what are the symptoms of diabetes. There is a possibility if you have diabetes, you may have few of these symptoms within your body and you may experience this all throughout your day. It could be frequent urination, urge to urinate every now and then, whether it's daytime or nighttime, sudden weight loss, maybe 8 or 10 kgs in a couple of months or more, wounds that won't heal. There will be hunger pangs every now and then. You may feel hungry. Have a blurry vision. You may have sexual problems. Females may often have vaginal infections. You may have numbness or tingling sensation or even pain in your hands and feet. There is always a quench for thirst, which is never satisfied. You may always feel thirsty. Can I have the next slide, please? What are the causes of diabetes? Causes could be genetic factors. If anybody from your family, any of your ancestors had diabetes, there is a bright possibility that even you may get diabetes. Obesity is one of the leading causes of diabetes. Stress. All of us undergo some or the other amount of stress, whether it's at workplace or maybe at home. unhealthy eating habits. All of us are fond of eating junk foods, but what happens is this junk contains large amount of carbohydrate. Even acidated drinks contains could be a cause for diabetes. Lack of exercise, sedentary lifestyle, or inactivity. Many of you may be working professionals who are in front of the laptop or your computer all throughout your day, and you hardly get time or no time to undergo any kind of physical exercise or any activity. So that could be a cause. Nowadays, age is also considered as a factor that may lead to diabetes. Diabetes is now tagged as an aging disorder. Next slide, please. So what are the types of diabetes? Diabetes is mainly divided into two types. Diabetes type 1 and diabetes type 2. Type 1 is called as diabetes insipidus and type 2 is termed as diabetes mellitus. What is type 1? When pancreas doesn't produce insulin, it is called as diabetes type 1. What could be the signs? You may have increased thirst, urination, excessive urination, constant hunger, weight loss, blurry vision, and extreme tiredness. What are the causes for type 1? Causes could be genetic factors, environmental factors, or it could be autoimmune factors. Hence, none of these factors can be prevented. 10% of the total diabetic population are of type 1 diabetes. What is the treatment for type 1? Treatment consists of insulin injections and some oral medication. Insulin injections are mainly of four types. It could be rapid acting insulin, it could be short acting, intermittently acting, or it could even be long acting insulin injections. Statistics says that 1.6 million people in US are suffering from diabetes type 1. Many of them are diagnosed in the emergency room as type 1 diabetes, even at a small age, what we call as juvenile diabetes. Speaking about type 2 diabetes or diabetes mellitus is when your pancreas doesn't produce enough amount of insulin, or the insulin produced cannot be processed. That is called as diabetes type 2. What are the warning signs? Fatigue, slow healing wounds, pain or numbness in hands and feet. Symptoms can be mild, often go unnoticed. Causes are lifestyle. We have a sedentary lifestyle. It could be genetic, and age is also a causative factor for diabetes type 2. 25% of people above the age of 65 are in a bright chance of getting diabetes type 2. Treatment consists of a good, healthy diet, exercise, and maintaining your blood glucose level through consuming oral medications. In few cases, it may also require insulin injections. Diabetes type 2 is also divided into a subtype, which we call it as gestational diabetes, or a pregnant lady getting diabetes in simple words. The high blood sugar levels in pregnancy is termed as GDM, gestational diabetes mellitus. There is a bright possibility that this lady may later land up into diabetes type 2. But usually what happens is after giving birth to the child, the blood sugar levels again go back to normal. Can I have the next slide, please? Yes. Past few years, maybe a decade or so, a new term that has come up, that is pre-diabetic. So are you a diabetic or pre-diabetic? It is a confusion. What is pre-diabetic? Pre-diabetic means your blood sugar levels are high, but they are not high enough to be termed as diabetic. With proper exercise, weight loss, and maintaining a healthy diet and lifestyle, there is a 58% chance that you may reverse your pre-diabetic into normal. Next slide, please. Now let us look into some myths and facts. There are so many myths about diabetes in everybody's mind. Eating too much of sugar can cause diabetes. No, we have already seen it that the way a body utilizes the sugar causes diabetes and not the consumption of sugar. People with diabetes cannot eat sugar and desserts. It is a myth. have a good diet, good exercise, take your medications properly, you can consume some amount of sugar or small amount of dessert in your meal every day. Diabetes is not serious, it's a myth. Diabetes is a deadly disease. It is called as a slow poison. Again, a myth which says diabetes 1, type 1 is more serious type of diabetes. No, whether it is type 1 or type 2, both can be deadly. A myth that we often hear is children develop type 1 diabetes and older people above 65 develop diabetes type 2. No, you can have, the fact is you can get diabetes at any stage of your life, and it could be type 1 or type 2 at any stage of your life. Diabetes always leads to blindness and amputation. It is a myth. It will not always lead to blindness or amputation. Statistics says only 11.7% of the total diabetic population have some kind of eye problems or lead up to blindness. Only 0.56% of the total diabetic population undergo amputation. Another myth that we often hear is diabetes only affects people with obesity, whereas the Center for Disease Control says only 11%, the 11% of the total population of diabetic population were neither overweight nor they were obese. So even if you are lean, there is a chance you may be diabetic. Pre-diabetes always leads into diabetes. No, if you, just as I said previously, you can reverse pre-diabetes. People with diabetes type 2 don't need insulin. If you don't control your blood sugar levels, there is a bright possibility you may need insulin injections in your life later. Women with diabetes should not get pregnant. It's a myth. Any lady, whether she is diabetic type 1 or 2, if she has good control in her blood sugar levels, she can have a healthy pregnancy and have a healthy baby as well. Let us now take a look at few statistics. According to International Diabetes Federation, released in the 9th edition, the Atlas released in the 9th edition 2019, which says approximately 463 million adults are living with diabetes in the world. By 2045, this number will rise more than 700 million in the world. The proportion of people with diabetes type 2 is increasing in most of the countries. 79% of adults with diabetes were living in low and middle income countries. 1 in 5 people who are above 65 years of old have diabetes. 1 in 2 people with diabetes were undiagnosed. Diabetes causes 4.2 million deaths every year or maybe more. The number is increasing and the figures are threatening. More than 1.1 million children and adolescents are living with diabetes type 1. This is really heartening. More than 20 million live births are affected by diabetes during pregnancy. 374 million people are at increased risk of developing diabetes type 2. After listening to all these facts, I'm sure you all must be worried. You should be. And now let us take a look at some complications what this diabetes causes. Can I have the next slide, please? Yes, complications of diabetes. There are so many. It could be blindness, it could be amputation, insomnia, depression, skin rashes, heart failure, stroke, and so many. Let us take a look at few of those which are more deadly. Next slide, please. Risk of stroke or heart disease is 2 to 4 times higher among people with diabetes. So what do you need to do to prevent yourself from stroke and cardiovascular disease? You need to do is ABC of diabetes. What is ABC? A is maintain your A1C levels within the normal limits. B stands for blood pressure. Control your blood pressure. C stands for cholesterol. Control your cholesterol levels. Can I have the next slide, please? Yes, diabetic retinopathy. We've often heard that diabetic retinopathy is one of the major causes of blindness all over the world. If you have uncontrolled sugars, uncontrolled glucose in your blood, what will it do? It will damage your eye. How? There will be increase in the blood vessels inside your eye, which may lead out to aneurysm or hemorrhage inside your eye. There could be cotton wool spikes inside the eye. You can have also so many other eye diseases, which may again lead up to diabetic retinopathy. What do you need to protect your eye? You need to have a dilated eye examination from your ophthalmologist every year. First and foremostly, you need to quit smoking. You need to keep your blood pressure and lipids within the normal limits. Managing your A1C levels in normal limits. Taking care of your eyes by always sitting in a proper light area, not reading in a dark area or not getting exposed to extreme bright sunlight, proper use of sunglasses, using screens only when required, and maintaining a proper distance from the screen to your eye. This is what you can do to protect your eye. 60% of diabetic patients land up into cataract and 40% patients land up into glaucoma. What is cataract? Cataract is when there is clouding of your lens or there is increase in the opacity of your lens. And glaucoma is increased in the pressure of your eye. Next slide, please. Another major complication of diabetes is diabetic nephropathy. What is diabetic nephropathy? This excessive amount of blood glucose levels will damage the small blood vessels inside the kidney, leading the kidney to become less efficient or fail altogether. Such patients later on require directly require kidney transplant or even require dialysis, maybe weekly or bi-weekly. So what could be the symptoms of diabetic nephropathy? There could be worsening in blood pressure. There could be increase in protein inside the urine, that is proteinuria, swelling of feet, ankles, and hands or eyes. There could be a confusion state continuously inside that patient's mind, difficulty in concentrating, shortness of breath, loss of appetite, persistent itching, fatigue, and insomnia are some of the symptoms of diabetic nephropathy. Can you prevent this? Yes, you can. If you treat your diabetes properly, if you manage your blood pressure properly, if you follow a healthy diet, maintain your weight, and quit smoking, you can get rid of diabetic nephropathy. Can I have the next slide, please? Another major complication of diabetes is neuropathy, diabetic neuropathy. What this excessive increased blood sugar does is it damages your nerve ends. It will clearly, you can see a healthy nerve and a damaged nerve. So this is caused by your excessive blood sugar. What do you need to do if you have diabetic nephropathy? You need to wear a proper fitting and cushioned footwear. You need to examine your footwear regularly if they have any kind of tear or edges. Avoid exercising in extreme heat or extreme cold. Inspection of your feet daily by cleaning them. If you are not able to see your foot, palms of your foot, soles of your foot, you can visualize it by keeping a mirror below and watching about your feet completely if they are fine or are there any wounds or so. You should also clean them regularly and use moisturizing lotions. You should avoid exercises if your blood sugar levels are below 100 or above 250. Maintaining adequate water intake and preventing hypoglycemia are few things that you need to do to prevent diabetic nephropathy. Next slide, please. Yes, there are two major things that a patient of diabetes will often face in his life. That is, either the blood sugar levels are low or either they are very high. So what symptoms will you have in such cases? Before we have symptoms, I need to share some instances where you will have such situations of having low blood sugar levels. Say you are fasting or you have not consumed food for a longer time, there is a chance that you may land up into hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia is a state when your blood sugar levels go below 70. The most important organ of your body is your brain, and brain requires huge amount of glucose. So if the glucose levels is low, your brain will fade off. You may fade off at any place. It may be you are driving, maybe you are working at your place. It could be any place. You could be in a flight, you could be at your airport, anywhere it could be. So even a situation where that happens is you've consumed your medicine for diabetes, but you're not consuming your food. You get a suddenly you get a phone call that there is some emergency and you need to rush somewhere. You've taken the medicine. That medicine will drop your blood glucose level, but you have not taken any food, so you'll land up into hypoglycemia. So what symptoms at such stages you'll have is you'll have shaking feeling inside your body, sweating. You could be anxious. You will feel a dizziness continuously. There will be hunger. Your heartbeat will be higher. There will be impaired vision. You will feel weakness, and there will be a constant headache. So make sure if you have any kind of these symptoms, you are having a low blood sugar level. I always suggest my patients to keep few chocolates in their pocket or purse. If you feel any of these symptoms, immediately consume a couple of chocolates. If your blood sugar levels are low, it will rise your level up, and you will be saved in such situation. Can I have the next slide, please? Now let us take a look at high blood sugar levels. If you have high blood sugar levels, you will feel extreme tiredness. There will be dryness inside the mouth, extreme thirst, frequent urge to urinate, and constant drowsiness. These are the symptoms when you'll have high blood sugar levels. I always tell my patients, diabetes is now there to live with you. If you have diabetes, he is there with you all throughout your life. What do you need to do? You should be his friend, be his best friend. How can you increase his friendship? You need to do few things. Number one, you need to have proper diet. Number two, you need to have your medications on time. Number three, you need to have any kind of physical exercise that will keep your blood sugar levels in check. And number four, you should always consult your doctor and undergo all the required investigations constantly as prescribed by your doctor. There is a Sanskrit shlok or a prayer. I would like to end my speech with this, which says, Om Sarve Bhantu Sukinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kadechu Bhagavate, which says, may happiness be unto all, perfect health be unto all, may all see what is good, and may all be free from suffering. I wish you all a very healthy and a good life ahead. Your blood sugar levels. Do follow all the instructions said by me and all the other speakers. Take care of yourself. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leo Lyon, Dr. Acharya, for that very inspiring, very insightful presentation. At this moment, before we transition into the next section, I'm going to recognize very briefly a few of the people who've made this possible. First, I'd like to recognize our Lions Multiple District 16 Diabetes Chairperson, Lion Donna Fidel, who unfortunately could not join us today, but will be joining us for the second segment of this program on April 3rd. And I'd also like to thank our sponsor, Andy Plaza Pharmacy and Lion Sham Nalam, who donated 100 free glucometers for patients in New Jersey and free diabetes maintenance medication to uninsured patients who have a prescription. If you would like to claim a free glucometer and if you are in need, please feel free to go to that link and forward that link to someone who may be able to benefit from it. I'd now like to turn it over to our second speaker for today, Lion Lori Sheehan, who's a member of the Olivia Lions Club in Minnesota, and she's been a Lion for over 22 years. She attended her first Lions meeting at the age of 9. I think that we all get dragged to these programs at a young age. I think that she can definitely emphasize with me on this, but with her grandfather, she attended that meeting. And she's now a proud member of a 4-generation Lions family. Lion Lori served as a club secretary, club president, district leadership chairperson, and other district and multiple district positions. She serves both a moderator and speaker at the USA-Canada Lions Leadership Forum and has spoken at Lions events throughout the world. She's also serves as a facilitator for the Regional Lions Leadership Institute and the Vice District Governor-elect training. She's received several international presidents, certificates of appreciation, leadership medals, and international presidents awards, and she's a progressive Melvin Jones Fellow. She's a business owner and professional fitness trainer and instructor. She served her community on Bird Island Civic and Commerce, Bird Island Regatta Chairperson, and the City Planning Commission, Main Street Beautification Committee, and grant writing, and on the Renville County Hospital Foundation Board. And all these places she served in her own community outside of Lions. Lion Lori and her husband, second Vice President Brian Sheehan, have 2 sons and 2 daughters who are also Lions, and they have 3 grandchildren. Welcome, Lion Lori.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I was so happy to see this event put on because, as we know, cases of diabetes are on the rise around the world, and we just cannot work hard enough to get this information out to people. There are ways that we can help prevent this, so we just need to work hard. This is one of our causes in Lions, and so I was really happy to see this, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. You can go ahead and bring up my presentation. So just for the health of it, as Leo just said, I am a gym owner. I am a professional trainer and instructor. And what I'm going to share with you today is something that I share with my clients. And I just hope that you can take away something with this, just starting your own healthy lifestyle. If you're not quite sure where to start, I hope that this can help you. Next slide. So these are just a few things we're going to be talking about today. What's happening in our world to make these numbers rise the way they are. Starting at the beginning, I'm going to take you to the beginning of what you need to do for your healthy lifestyle journey. We're going to talk a little bit about fitness assessments, really easy ones that you can do. Goals, excuses, and obstacles that might keep you from reaching your goals with your healthy lifestyle. I'm going to share with you a 12-week program that I do with my clients, and compliments of my daughter, Bree. We're going to be sharing a couple demonstrations of high-intensity and low-intensity interval training programs that you can do very easily at home with no equipment, and hopefully have some time for questions and answers. You can type your questions into the comment box. Next slide. So what is going on that is making these numbers rise the way they are? Well, we have very busy lifestyles. Those of you, especially with kids, I know in our household, it feels like our kids are twice as busy as even we were growing up. Very often both parents are working outside the home, kids have their activities, and it's really hard to find the energy at the end of the day to, go home and cook a healthy meal. We very often go to restaurants or take out or find those prepackaged, pre-made meals that are quick and easy to prepare. We are motorized. There are fewer people walking and biking to work. And, that's something that not all of us, especially if you're in a larger city, can do. But we're just not taking the time to be outside and take part in those healthy activities. There are larger portion sizes. I know most of you know the rule that when you go to a restaurant, you're supposed to immediately cut that meal in half and save part of it for the next day. The sad reality of this is if you look at the macronutrients, the carbs, the proteins, and the fats in a typical restaurant meal, and combine that with what else you eat the rest of the day, you actually would be closer to cutting that into third or fourths. That's how much is in one meal. Fast food, again, it's so quick and easy to grab. I know it's tempting, but it's a problem. And we are computerized. We have lots of screen time for work and entertainment. I think it's going to be really interesting when this pandemic is done. You know, we have all been home now for a year, over a year, and you know, we're working in front of our computers at home. People are catching up on movies and TV shows, streaming. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with numbers, because I've heard a lot of people, I've seen posts, people worried about the weight that they've gained during this pandemic. So I hope everyone gives this some thought and starts to make some changes now. Next slide. Is there a way we can make that a little bit bigger? Thank you. So as we've been discussing, there are millions of people that are at risk around the world for developing diabetes. In the US alone, we have over 34 million cases and over 88 million pre-diabetic cases. And worldwide, we are over 422 million people with diabetes. It's rising more rapidly in low and middle income countries. Part of that, a lot of factors involved, but part of it is just access to healthy food, nutrition, proper nutrition, and education, and the doctors. A major cause, or diabetes is a major cause of blindness, heart attacks, strokes, amputations, lower limbs, and kidney failure. And by 2016, they said we had approximately 1.6 million deaths attributed alone to diabetes. The good news is, I know these kinds of statistics are scary, but the good news is that type 2 diabetes can actually be avoided or delayed with a proper diet and exercise program implemented. Next. So there are many benefits of exercise. This is not new to any of you. You know, it can help you shed extra weight and body fat. Exercise is going to help strengthen your bones and muscles, lower your blood pressure. It lowers your LDL levels, which is your bad cholesterol, and at the same time, it increases HDL levels, which is the good cholesterol. It increases blood flow, which makes for a healthier heart. And if you have good heart health, it's going to lower your risk of stroke and heart attacks, heart disease. Exercise also releases endorphins, which elevates your mood and decreases stress. And I know, especially right now with all of us locked at home so much, this is something that we can all use a little bit more of. Next slide. So exercise, when you're diabetic, exercise allows muscles to tap into those glucose stores, which helps to regulate your blood sugar levels. And it helps to increase your body's sensitivity to insulin, which counters that insulin resistance. Regular exercise will also help to prevent development of type 2 diabetes. And they say for diabetics, the best exercise is like a moderate to high intensity, longer duration, and some strength training. So think about like the cardio portion of it to be outside walking, hiking, biking, swimming, whatever it is that you'd like to do at a moderate pace minimum. And by moderate, we mean if you were to be walking with someone, you would be able to carry on a conversation. It would be a little bit difficult, but you would be able to carry on a conversation. Next slide. So all the statistics aside, how do you get started on your healthy lifestyle journey? First of all, see your doctor. I am not a doctor. And I always want my clients to first meet with their family physician because there are a lot of tests that they can run. You also really need to know if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic because your exercise program and diet, it all factors in. Your doctor might end up suggesting if you are diabetic to actually, when you're exercising long durations, to check your blood sugar levels before and after, and maybe even during a longer duration exercise, like if you're going for a long hike. There are also some things that you can do at home with an assessment, but there are a couple things that you'll want to check with your doctor and see if they provide these tests. One would be just checking body circumference measurements, and they can do that at the doctor's office with what we call DXA x-rays. For people that have gone in and had bone density checked, this is the same thing. So it's actually going to be able to assess lean mass and fat. And the error range on this is about 2.5 to 3.5%. So it's really pretty accurate. The other thing that they can do is hydrostatic weighing, which is actually underwater. So they'll put you in this little seat, they'll put you in the water, they have you inhale, and at the bottom of the exhale, they'll take your weight. And they'll do that same thing to you on land, and then they'll compare the two. And this is probably the most accurate, and it has an error rate as low as 2%. Now, if you don't have a hospital that provides this, you might check if you have a university, because a lot of times university facilities will have that hydrostatic weighing option available there. You might check also with like a YMCA or a gym that has a large pool. They might actually offer that service as well. So you can do some checking around. But ones that you can do at home quite easily, they're affordable and very convenient. They're just not as accurate. Would be body circumference measurements and just measuring with the tape measure around your waist, around your chest, around your hips and arm. And error range again is quite a bit higher, 2.5 to 4.5%. And skin fold calipers. These are something that you can purchase on Amazon, anywhere online. They're just like a little clip, and I know not everyone likes to do this, but you have to pinch those folds of fat and measure those. This has an error range of about 3.5 to 5% body fat. Next slide. So body fat percentage, this is just a chart that you can see the difference. Like essential fat for a male is 2 to 4%. Essential fat for a female is 10 to 12%. So we know that women carry a lot more fat than men do. But once you have this measured, this is something that you can just see where you fall. Are you obese? Are you in an acceptable range? Are you athletic or fit? Next slide. So body mass index, or BMI, a lot of you might have heard this. This is not nearly as accurate, and but it's a good rough estimate for you to kind of check and see where you are in a healthy range. And it basically is just taking your height and weight. And so you can actually go to the next slide for just a second. So if you can see this, you can see your height across the top and the weight, find your weight across the left side. And then where those two meet, that is your body mass index. Now in the light blue area at the top, that would be considered underweight. In the green, you would be in the acceptable or average range. Yellow, it would be overweight, which would carry some risks. And the red is what you don't want to be in. That would be considered obese, carrying a high health risk. The one thing that I always tell my clients, the problem with body mass index is that it doesn't differentiate between lean mass and fat. It's just taking in your total weight. So I always say, if I had two clients, I could have two women standing in front of me, both 5 feet tall, both 140 pounds. One could be very muscular and very fit, and one could be not so fit. So they would both maybe go into that overweight category, but the one that's actually muscular is not truly overweight. They're just carrying muscle, which we know weighs more than fat. So it can be a little bit deceiving. And I always like, especially with young women, so hard on themselves. And that's my only problem with charts. I don't want anyone to ever look at this chart when they take the time to eat right and exercise. Don't take this for, saying that, oh my gosh, it says I'm overweight, because you just might be one of those people that falls in that category where you're actually very fit. Next slide. This is another one that you can do at home, very easy. It's just height to waist ratio. And you're going to take your waist divided by your height. And rule of thumb with this, if you want your waist to be about half your height. So again, it's a rough estimate, but let's say you are 60 inches tall, rule of thumb would be you'd want about somewhere around a 30-inch waist. Next slide. And another one that you want to do is a resting heart rate. Again, very easy to do at home. You're going to sit comfortably in a chair, legs uncrossed. Make sure your feet are planted or resting on the floor. Don't have them swinging. You're going to find the pulse in your neck or in your wrist, and you're going to count your pulse beats for 1 minute. And again, this chart just kind of gives you an idea of where you're at. Try to do this first thing in the morning if you've had a good night's rest. You don't want to be stressed. You don't want to be overly tired. But it's a good thing to do first thing in the morning. Next slide. And of course, getting your blood pressure checked. This is standard with any doctor's appointment that you would have. It's an important indicator as you begin and you progress through your healthy lifestyle plan. So you want to check your blood pressure and check it regularly. You don't have to go to your doctor to have this checked. If you don't have that equipment at home, you can go to any pharmacy now. They've got the machines right there. You can go to even the big box stores, typically in their pharmacy section, have these machines readily available. So it's really quick and easy just to keep an eye on your blood pressure. Next. Okay, this is the plank test. This, again, done at home, very easy. All you do is perform a plank exercise and you time yourself how long you can hold the plank in proper form. Once you break form, you've got to stop timing. As you can see, the female is doing a full plank with the arms straight, and the male picture, he is doing the modified. So if you have some wrist or joint issues, elbows in your wrists, even in your shoulders, you might need to do this in the modified version, and that's perfectly fine. But this is really going to help determine your core strength. And your core is so important. Don't forget to work your core, because we're talking the entire torso. So your lower back, your abdominals, and this area affects everything. It affects how you walk. It affects how you sleep. You want to make sure that you're always including this in your program. Next slide. And this is the sit and reach, and you're going to want someone to help you with this, but again, very easy to do. You're going to sit on the floor with your feet stretched out in front of you, or your legs stretched out in front of you, your feet flexed up. You're going to put a ruler in between your heels with the 0 at your heels and the 12 facing away from you. And the idea is to reach forward and over your toes to see where your fingertips land on the ruler. If you can't reach your toes, I know there are a lot of people that cannot reach their toes. You'll get there. But if you can't reach your toes, what you're going to do is flip the ruler the other way. So the 0 will be at your heels, the 12 will be facing you. And you're going to reach forward and then measure in the negatives. So again, this is just a way to see where your level of flexibility is. This is something that we do very often starting out clients in the gym, just to see where they're at, what we need to work on. And again, the chart kind of shows you if you're very flexible, a man, you'll be greater than 10.5 inches, 11.5 inches for women. If you're in the very poor range, you would be less than a negative 7.5 for men and less than a 6.0 for women. And the next. Okay, so another assessment, just record for 1 minute how many you can do, how many sit-ups you can do in 1 minute, how many pull-ups you can do, how many step-ups you can do, and how many push-ups. Most people look at me and say, I already know I can do 0 pull-ups. And I'm one of those people. They are my nemesis. Even though I work out all the time, pull-ups are the one true exercise that I just can't do. I'm not sure why. I never have been able to, no matter how many of the exercises exercises I do, working those muscles that I can allow me to do pull-ups, I can't do them, but I still try. So just for 1 minute, record how many you can do of each of these. Step-ups, if you're not familiar with these, you can use a bench, a sturdy bench, please, or you can simply do these on a set of stairs as long as you have a railing or something. Just make sure you're doing this safely. And you're just going to step up and down as fast as you can for 1 minute. Push-ups, make sure, again, if you are just starting out, you will probably have to modify this, meaning go ahead and let those knees drop to the floor. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to save your back and save yourself from injury. So please always modify when you need to. Next slide. Okay, so the 12-week program is something I do with my clients. I like to set goals in cycles. And so this is like a 12-week cycle. And then you can stop and you can reevaluate after those 12 weeks and see where you're at, see what kind of changes you need to make. So the first thing I tell you to do is to buy a notebook. Just buy a regular, notebook, school notebook. And I want you to journal everything for those 12 weeks. You're going to, in this notebook, you're going to put the fitness assessment measurements that we just talked about. You're going to insert any notes from your doctor, and this is so important. So if they're telling you whatever they told you, if you need to check your blood sugar levels during your exercise program, write that down as a reminder, to not forget to check those blood sugar levels. If they have told you that, due to a bad shoulder or a knee replacement or whatever, to avoid these particular exercises, please write all of that in this notebook so that you know to avoid those exercises and you don't injure yourself. You're going to write in your goals and the excuses versus obstacles, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. I want you to also, very important, I want you to write down all the food that you consume every day. And it doesn't matter if it is a meal or just a piece of candy that you grab from a jar at work. Piece of gum, anything. I want you to write it down. I want you to write down what we call macronutrients, or you'll hear people talk about macros, and that is the protein, the carbs, and the fat content in what you eat. I want you just to get in the habit of writing these down. Look at the food package. It's okay if you don't have an actual package with that information on, like with the piece of candy. You could probably Google it and get a good idea of what that candy or whatever that is. You could get the macros on it or calorie count. But it's important to understand what you're putting in your system. And your doctor might tell you to, Dr. Ajaria did touch on this where, Jeff Gans also talked about it, how he kind of had his own diet and the cake at night, but you might be told to go on high protein, low carb. So it's going to be very important for you to write this down, journal it, just to see what you're eating. The other thing that I think is helpful to include in this is sugar content. I can't even tell you how many people come to me and say, I eat so healthy. And, I wake up in the morning and I eat low-fat yogurt and a slice of whole wheat bread. And then I tell them, please go look at the package on both of those and tell me how much sugar you put in your system. Some of the low-fat yogurt, I know they tell you it's healthy, but some of it has more sugar than a can of pop. Same thing with whole wheat bread. It's very high in sugar. The sugar is what makes whole wheat bread edible for most people. So you really, really need to check those hidden sugars. I think people are often amazed at how much sugar they're actually eating in a day when they think they're eating healthy. You're also going to journal all exercise that you do for the day. And next to that, I want you to, and also when you're eating, I want you to track your moods. You can start trying by like morning, noon, and night. If you are a little bit more thorough, you might go ahead and add moods when you're eating. And the reason I have people do this is I want you to really understand maybe some of your triggers. Are you eating out of boredom? Are you eating because you're stressed? That's a big one for a lot of people. Are you stressed? And what kinds of foods are you grabbing? This just really helps you determine what you need to do to get rid of those bad habits. So what is it that you're doing? How are you feeling when you do that? Next page. Okay, so setting goals. I just want you to think about what your fitness goals would be for the next 12 weeks. Keep your goals very specific. They should be oriented towards your well-being versus an event. So you'd want to say, like, I'm going to try to cut sugar out of my diet. I'm going to exercise 5 days a week. I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to lose 15 pounds. I want to lose 3% body fat. Those would be good specific goals. What I want you to avoid doing is saying, I'm going to lose enough weight so I can fit in a wedding gown, or go to a wedding and I want to fit in this dress, or I want to fit in this outfit for a class reunion, or I want to go to the beach this summer. It's not that those are bad goals. It's just, I want you to keep these focused on your well-being, not something, not a particular event. Because a lot of times people reach that event and then it just all goes to the wayside. They stop all the healthy habits. So I really want you to keep this focused towards yourself. Next slide. Okay, so obstacles versus excuses. An excuse is a reason or an explanation that's put forward to defend or justify a fault or offense. So an example of an excuse would be, I didn't get enough sleep and I was too tired to exercise today. The obstacle is the thing that blocks you or prevents or hinders your progress. As you see, I put Netflix. So why were you not getting enough sleep? I know in our house, if I asked our daughter that any given day, she'd probably like, I was up late watching Netflix. So excuses versus obstacles. So in your journal, you'll write down 3 to 5 excuses that you tend to use that keep you from exercising or eating healthy. I'm too tired to make, I work too long. I don't have time to make these meals, healthy meals. Whatever excuse that you're making, or, we have this great fast food restaurant down the road. I can't help. I really like that. I love chocolate. I can't keep away from chocolate. Whatever it is, write down these excuses so you know what triggers. Then I want you to write down 3 to 5 obstacles. What are the things actually keeping you from reaching those goals? And you'll see the difference. But again, journaling this just keeps it out in front. There might be things that you're not even realizing. You're grabbing late night snacks just simply because you're in front of the TV. You're going to soon realize what your triggers are, and this is going to be very important in moving forward in your healthy lifestyle plan. And next slide. Okay, so these are some different types of exercise. We have our cardio, strength training, core training, and stretch, and they're all very, very important components to the program. Cardio, of course, is anything that elevates your heart rate for an extended period of time. So it'll be your walking, swimming, biking, aerobics, hiking. There'll be longer duration, and again, your heart rate is elevated throughout the exercise. Strength training is using resistance to induce muscular contraction, which helps to build strength, anaerobic endurance, and the size of the skeletal muscles. So the different strength trainings you might encounter would be weight machines, which you would often see at a gym. Body weight exercises are anything that you just use your own body weight, like a push-up would be a body weight exercise. No additional equipment or weights are used. And a free weight exercise would be using free weights. Those are your barbells, your dumbbells, kettlebells, resistance bands, things like that. Core training is a program that combines exercises to help you with balance and stability. Your abdominal and lower back area, and all muscles of the trunk. Again, sit-ups, planks, yoga, all of these, Pilates, those are all really good core training programs. It's so important. One thing that people don't realize as we get older and you're losing vision, you're losing hearing, even if it's just off a little bit, it's just changed a little bit, it can completely throw your balance off. And so if you find that you're stumbling a little bit more than usual or whatever, there are exercises that you can do to really help kind of get you back in focus, get you back in balance. Stretching, again, this is going to prepare your body for exercise. It increases your range of motion. Most of you know if you've had a knee or a shoulder replacement, they give you specialized exercises and stretches to do just to keep working on that range of motion and to get that back. So stretching is something that you don't want to forget to do. Please take the time to do it. It doesn't take that long. You just need to maybe stretch 5-10 minutes before you exercise to warm up. And then it's a good idea for at least 5 minutes afterward just to cool down. Next slide. Okay, so what is best for you? Well, that depends. You just need to ask yourself a few questions. You know, you can quickly fail at a healthy lifestyle change if you don't do your research. Think of it just very much like if you were to go buy a new pair of jeans. If you don't take the time to see what fits you, you won't use them. They'll sit in the back of your closet. And this goes without saying. How many people do you know have a piece of exercise equipment that looks so great on TV? And then now it's sitting and it's holding your laundry, or it's in a back bedroom and it's never getting used. I think we've all had those pieces of equipment before. So you just have to ask yourself, you know, what are your favorite activities? Exercise is not meant to be boring. It's not meant to be something that's a horrible thing to do. It's supposed to actually be fun. It's supposed to make you feel better. So what are your favorite things to do? Do you like to golf? If you like to golf, try to golf as much as you can, but stay out of the cart and walk the course. Do you like to exercise indoors or outdoors? Do you like a group setting? Are you social, or would you rather work out alone? If you are a very social person, like a group setting, then that's when you want to look for a gym. You want to look for maybe exercise classes. If that's what keeps you motivated, having your friends or just other people around, look into that type of fitness. If you are, you know, more of a homebody, or just don't, I've worked with people that just don't like to work out in front of people, and they always had to, you know, figure out what times of the gym were the least busy, and that's fine. But you just have to figure out what is most comfortable for you, because that's how you're going to be successful. Try to figure out what your current fitness level is. Again, the assessments that I gave you are very helpful. And you need to know, of course, if you have any restrictions. What is your doctor telling you? If you see a chiropractor, family physician, or physical therapist, if you've recently had surgery, it's very, very important to know and understand those restrictions. Next slide. So, gym, like I said, I'm a gym owner. You do not have to have a gym membership in order to have a healthy lifestyle. I will be the first person to tell you that. Gyms are not for everyone. They really, truly aren't. And the pandemic has all but shut down our business anyway. And a lot of people just say, you know, they're starting to open at limited capacity in a lot of states. But even then, I know a lot of people just are not comfortable yet going into gyms. But if you decide to join a gym, these are some things that you would want to ask, and really important things that you want to ask. Because there are, you know, gyms can offer services that are great, like I said, for the people that prefer a social environment. Just they can't motivate themselves to do this at home. So, and a lot of beginners too, you might find it helpful just to work with the trainer for a little bit, just to make sure you're keeping proper form, just give you some direction on what to do. These are questions that you want to ask before you actually join the gym. If you're looking, make sure you look at a few of them in your area if more than one is available. So is there a membership initiation fee? This is one, it's a little bit tricky. I never charge an initiation fee at my gym. I'm very much against nickel and diming. So that's something you really do need to be careful with some of the gyms. And I was not a franchise. I had my own gym. I was able to design it the way I wanted to. So if you're going to like a Gold's Gym or 24-Hour Fitness or one of those, that's what we call the big box gyms, they aren't going to have as much leeway as I did having my own private gym. So ask if there's a membership initiation fee, because you might get called in saying, oh, I get to join for $9.99. but then they're going to hit you with a $50 initiation fee. And if you ask them what that is for, very often they'll say it's to process the paperwork. And I'm telling you, there's no paperwork that has to be done that would be $50 worth. So just make sure you don't get nickel and dimed with that. Ask if there are discounts for family or couple memberships, or if you pay for 3 months or 6 months or pay for a full year. Very often that equals to almost getting 1 or 2 months free. Ask about classes. What classes are there? Are they classes that you would actually take? They might have a large variety of classes, but if you're not going to take them, it won't do you any good. So ask if they are an extra cost or if that's included in your membership fee. If you have kids, is there a kids program? One thing for me as a mom, when I designed my gym, I did it based on that I was a parent. And I guess the biggest problem, I didn't want to lose that time at home, I guess, with the family. I would have felt guilty with them being in school all day, me at work, and then, oh, bye, here's dinner, I'm going to go to the gym. If this was something that we could do as a family, it was all the better. So I designed my gym around that idea. I put in a tot zone and a kids zone with actual equipment. So the kids were not just in a playland, they were actually working out. They had their own fitness program. So this was really it's really a family effort. So if you can find like a YMCA or something where they have those kids activities rather than just kind of like a daycare, that's really what you want to join. And I'm telling you, you will find that the kids are often the best motivation you can have to get going and get to the gym. I can't tell you how many times I had parents come in and say, I was so tired after work today, I didn't want to come, but the kids are like, oh, let's go. And so, if this is something you can do as a family, those honestly are the best places to go. But again, check if it's a kids program. Is it an extra fee? Is that included in your membership? And if there are time limits, that would be another big thing. Sometimes they only have those kids area open for a certain amount of time or certain hours on the days. So make sure you understand what those are. Ask about locker rooms, lockers and showers, towels, amenities. Is there an extra fee? Some gyms will charge you just to put your stuff in the locker. And even if it's only 50 cents, if you're going 4 or 5 times a week, that's going to add up in a month. So make sure, again, you understand what all those hidden fees might be. And cleanliness, of course, this is a big one. Ask them how often the showers and the locker rooms are cleaned. Look around the gym and make sure there are cleaning wipes or sprays available in the facility, around the facility, easy for the members to grab, and make sure members are wiping down the equipment after they use it. Again, it's up to ultimately to the staff to keep these places clean, but some members are better than others at cleaning up after themselves. So just make sure that they have those kinds of items available. Next slide. You also want to check and see if there are water receptacles or water fountains, how easy it would be for you if you have a water bottle that you bring with you, if you're able to fill it up easily there. Orientation of the facility and the machines. Most places will include this in your membership fee. When you first go, they'll give you one orientation. One rule that I always had with my clients is that I don't feel that you can learn all of that, especially if you're just beginning. You can't learn all of that in one quick orientation. They're going to say, use this machine this way, this way, this way. They might write down what weights to start at. And then I guarantee if you don't really know what you're doing, you're going to go back to the gym and you're going to use maybe 2 or 3 pieces of equipment that you know how to use, but you might not remember the rest. And you're going to miss an opportunity to really have this great exercise program. So you want to make sure what's included in that orientation. Ask them if it's staffed after that. If you have a question on how to use the machine or whatever, is there going to be someone there to help you? This is going to be very important. What hours are they staffed? Building security, do they use key cards to go in? This is another thing with the key cards. Be very aware. One thing I would not allow in my gym ever is a tanning bed. And I know some of the 24-hour fitness facilities will offer free tanning if you buy, a 3-month membership. I always had a problem, they'll give you tokens. And I just always had a problem with, if I'm trying to help you make or get healthy, but here, have some tokens and go in a tanning bed, which I don't think is very healthy. So that's not something that I would offer, but if they do, make sure that there's someone sanitizing it. It's always a big fear of mine. I know 24-hour, there are some 24-hour facilities that are not manned. They just have the key card entry. So there's really no one there on a regular basis or all 24 hours to make sure that those tanning beds are being cleaned properly, the equipment's being cleaned properly. So just ask, like, if it's one of those 24-hour facilities, what hours are being staffed, and those are probably the hours that you want to try to be there because you know it's going to be kept up. Ask if the facility offers any reimbursement through health insurance programs. Like we have Blue Cross Blue Shield through Minnesota, and they have a Get Healthy program and on some of the plans, and you can get reimbursed. If you go 12 times a month, you might get reimbursed like $20. So that can actually help. It's a really nice incentive to keep you going to the gym. So if you have that, first find out if you have that available on your health insurance plan, and then see if that gym will offer that reimbursement. That's something as a gym owner that we have to set up with each individual insurance company, and it costs us. We actually have to buy a software to process all of those health insurance plans. So not all gyms offer it, but most of the big boxes will. And this is another big one. Can you freeze the account if you go on vacation or if you can't use the facility for an extended amount of time? In our area, we are a very rural area. My gym does not operate on seasons like a lot of them. A lot of gyms will, drop down a membership in the summertime when people want to be outside. Mine has never really fluctuated around seasons. It's fluctuated around when the farmers are in the fields. So I have farm families, they join the gym as a family, but they farm as a family. So when harvest or spring planting starts, it takes the entire family out of my gym. And it's weather dependent, but they know that they might be out for a couple weeks. So I just simply freeze the account so they're not losing that time. That's just something that I do, and it keeps my customers coming back. But just check and see if you're able to freeze it, if there are any penalties for that. But if you know that you're going to be on vacation for a week, are you going to lose that week of your membership, or will they let you just freeze the account and unfreeze it when you get back? Next slide. Okay, so a home gym. Home gyms do not have to be expensive. They're very convenient, and you can quickly set this up with limited to no equipment at all. I want you to take into consideration the space that you have in your home and the type of exercise that you're going to do and most interested in doing. Will you need equipment to do that? So if you're doing streaming, and check into the streaming programs now, they have some excellent exercise programs that are being streamed. It'll give you a large variety. You won't be stuck kind of doing the same thing over and over again. And so you just want to, do you have a TV set up in there? Do you need a DVD player? What is it that you need? And have all that ready to go. You can easily make it into a family program. Again, these streaming services have been wonderful. They have a little bit of something for everyone. If you're looking at getting a few pieces of equipment, look at the secondhand sporting equipment stores in your area. Look in the for sale ads on Facebook and in your paper. If you prefer to purchase something that's not brand new, you just want to try it out. And even like free weights, the dumbbells, barbells, you don't have to buy those brand new. See if you can buy them used somewhere. Just make sure if you're buying something like a treadmill, if you're not buying that new, if it's refurbished or used, just make sure you understand if there's any warranty maintenance left on it, or refurbished ones will typically give you like a 1-year limited warranty on it with no maintenance. It can be quite expensive to replace those parts. So like a tread mat, just to let you know, a tread mat would cost about sometimes upwards of $300. A motherboard that runs pretty much a whole operation can cost you about $800. So again, if you're going to buy home equipment, make sure you know what that warranty maintenance plan is. It's very, very important. It will save you from pulling your hair out. I promise you. It might cost you $30, $40 extra, but it's worth it on that particular piece of equipment. Next slide. Okay, so home gym can be very simple like this. You can see I have a stability ball there, a yoga band for stretching, the bench with risers. This is something that you can buy online, and they are very, very helpful with a home gym if you don't have like the benches and stuff for your weights, because those risers are adjustable. So you can use this for step ups. You can use it for push-ups, for tricep dips. There are a lot of exercises you can do on this. Plus you can use it as your weight bench. So you're elevated off the floor in order to do some of those arm exercises more effectively with dumbbells and barbells. Resistance bands, kettlebells, and dumbbells, barbells. And you can also consider installing a large mirror. You can go to Home Depot or Menards, whatever you have in your area, and get like a large bathroom mirror even. And if you can get that on the wall, that's always good, just so you can keep an eye on yourself with proper form. It's very important. Next slide. Okay, so HIIT versus LIT. High intensity interval training versus low intensity interval training. High intensity is using cycles of high intensity exercises with little rest in between the sets. It keeps your heart rate elevated throughout the entire cycle. Really don't want to, 3 times a week is plenty. You don't want to do this every day. It's not designed to be done every day. And you really need to understand the exercises before you do it to make sure you understand proper form and how to perform each exercise. Otherwise, you can injure yourself because you're moving from one exercise to the other. Low intensity interval training is using cycles of low intensity exercises with a little bit of rest in between the sets. Your heart rate is up a little bit and then it'll come back down. It is up a little bit and it'll allow it to come back down. Low intensity is really good if you're a beginner, if you have joint issues or any injuries to consider. And you could perform these every day with little risk of injury. Next slide. Okay, so this high intensity interval training, for the sake of time and making it easy, I did it in increments of 10. So it's 10 jumping jacks, 10 high knees, 10 squats, 10 jump squats, 10 crunches, 10 push-ups. And you would just perform those one right after the other and then start back over at the top and perform it again and again. And you can repeat this up to about 5 times. You can go ahead and play that video. You can see she's starting with the jumping jacks. Going right into the high knees. This is our daughter Bree, by the way. To squats. And going into jump squats. Into her crunches. And right into push-ups. She always makes these look very, very easy. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this would be the low intensity interval training, an elbow to knee march. This would involve no jumping. So again, for beginners or if you have any joint issues. So elbow to knee march, side to side lunges, squats, slow mountain climbers, modified push-ups, and Russian twists. And again, you're gonna do 10 of each and you're gonna repeat up to 5 times. can go ahead and play that video. She's going to go right into her side-to-side lunges. And into squats. And mountain climbers, these are slow and controlled. These can be done faster if you want to add them to your high intensity interval training. You do them very fast, but this is just very slow and controlled. You're still getting a really good core workout. And the modified push-up, you'll see that she'll keep her knees resting on the mat. Don't be afraid to do these. It's always better to use proper form, modify when you need to. Even if you're doing the high intensity, you still might want to modify push-ups, or as you get to maybe the 4th or 5th set, it's perfectly fine just to go ahead and modify if you get tired. And the Russian twist, which is just kind of a half sit-up twisting side to side. Sometimes it's a little bit easier for people to do starting out versus a full sit-up. Okay, next slide. So, and keep in mind too, with those high intensity and low intensity interval training programs, they're ideal because you can, go ahead and check on the internet. You can find so many different exercises. So you don't have to do those particular exercises. Kind of rule of thumb is to include cardio, upper body, lower body, and core. So as long as you include all those components, change it up. And yes, Angela, you did up to 5 times. And again, you can also, if it gets too easy, like I said, I just used to use the 10 reps per set or per exercise. You can go ahead and up that to, 25, 30, 50, whatever you want to do. So you can increase the number that you do, and you can increase or change the exercises up. So they're really, really flexible, easy to do at home. So nutrition, of course, this is going to be a part of it. I'm just going to kind of touch on this. Number 1 rule, eat to fuel your body. Think of your body as a car. You have to put the right gas in your car. You have to keep the oil in it. You have to do all these things to tune up your car, to keep it functioning, keep it running smoothly. You need to do the same thing with your body. You need to eat the right foods to keep your body running efficiently. You need to have the right supplements. You need to have the right nutrients. So eat to fuel your body. Eat when you need to, not necessarily when you want to. Use as many unprocessed foods as possible. I know you've heard it before that you're supposed to shop the perimeter of the grocery store. This works in a lot of grocery stores, but I will tell you that maybe Bird Island just has something about this, because if you walk the perimeter, you're going to hit the bakery items almost when you first walk in. And I have a feeling that was probably done for my husband's benefit. So the idea of the perimeter of the store is to have your produce, frozen, and lean meats. So, just as many unprocessed food as possible. If you find that you're time crunched during the week, try doing meal preps on the weekend. Bree and I do that very often because she has competition training and she has very defined macros and a very defined diet that she needs to hit these macros every day and in her meals. So very often I will help food prep on the weekends, like on a Sunday. And we just make all the food, package them in little packages so she can easily grab them during the week. Utilize the internet to find healthy substitutions for your favorite foods. Try going vegan for a night if you are a meat eater. Bree and I don't eat meat, so this is very easy for us to do, but it's the products that they have now, it's actually much easier to implement vegan products, and they actually taste really good now. Remember to journal everything, journal your food for 12 weeks, especially checking to see how much hidden sugar you have. Sometimes you think you're eating healthy, you're exercising, but you're not making your goals, you're not losing the weight, you're not changing anything, and a lot of times it is that hidden sugar. Learn to portion correctly. Again, we talked about how everything is such large portions now. When you're at home, this is easy to do. So if you're going to make a meal, like a cup of rice, hopefully brown rice, is what a serving size is. So you'd be surprised, most people are eating almost 3 cups of rice. Make sure you're measuring that out for a while till you learn to eyeball that. Use a smaller plate if you have to, but it's really good to start measuring, especially some of those carb items. If your diet is well-rounded, you shouldn't need more than a daily vitamin. Again, this is aside from anything your doctor has prescribed. So always check with your doctor if there's something else that you should have. I know that I add iron to mine because I've always been borderline anemic. So, they're just things that I know I need, and I feel a difference. If I forget my supplement for the day, I really truly feel a difference. And when you're exercising, implementing a program, you're using up some of those nutrients. So again, very important, talk to your doctor, make sure you're not taking something that is going to counter any of your prescription medications that you take. You'd be surprised. And I know the internet is full of all of these fads and whatnot, and please avoid those. They're going to cost you a lot of money. We spend billions of dollars in a year on health products. It's crazy. And a lot of these are it's junk. It really, truly is. So if you're eating a well-rounded meal, the most that you probably need after that is, other than prescription meds, is a daily supplement, a daily vitamin. If you're an athlete, you might need to add some more, or if you're vegan, you might need to really concentrate on adding protein. I buy a whey protein powder that I can mix with almond or oat milk, and I just have to work at keeping my protein count up a little bit, and that's just an easy way for me to do it. Concentrate on eating healthy or clean for your meals during the week, and allow yourself one cheat meal on the weekend if you want. Maybe it's pizza with the family or your favorite restaurant or whatever. Go ahead and allow yourself one cheat meal. That doesn't mean a cheat day. That's one cheat meal. And go ahead and have a little bit of dessert if you want. If you're exercising and eating healthy and doing everything in moderation, there's no reason why you can't have that cheat meal. And it should not sabotage what you're doing. Go ahead, next slide. Again, avoid the fads. One thing that I get asked all the time are on detox products. And I know they're all over the internet. Should they detox or not? Our bodies, just so you know, our bodies are designed to naturally detox and eliminate waste. So unless your doctor has told you to do something differently, you really don't need to buy a detox system. Sometimes these are almost $200, and very often they include pills that have very harsh ingredients in them that can be really, really damaging on your system, very uncomfortable on your system. You really don't need to do that. You could take a weekend and eat clean, and that's really detoxing your system. You could just say, I'm going to avoid pop. I'm going to just drink water and eat fruit and veggies for a weekend, drink green tea. It's going to give you that same effect, and it's just going to be much healthier for you. Look for natural detoxifying products, produce like asparagus, grapefruit, celery, broccoli, avocado, greens, which would be your kale and spinach and collard greens, beets, lemons. Go natural if you can. You don't have to spend the money on those expensive products. Next slide. Okay, so now that I've given you all this information, what do you do with it? I just put on here, this would be a typical day for me. So I know this won't work for everyone, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how you would implement this into a day. So 7 a.m., I have breakfast. I try to eat an egg with 4 egg whites. Half a cup of steel coat oats. Steel coat oatmeal is much better for you than a processed, the quick oatmeal or those oatmeal packets, which are extremely high in sugar. Please don't eat those. All the flavored ones, I know they taste good, but they are so bad for you. So steel cut oats have a really, really good, just a really good source of fiber. You can add some berries, a little bit of almond milk if you want. If I don't have the steel cut oats, I'll eat a slice of Ezekiel bread, which is all live grains. It's much better for you than even some of the whole wheat. And I take my daily vitamin. And yes, I use ghee because I don't use butter. 8:30 in the morning, I'm usually doing my workout. The reason I wanted to put this on here is when you get done working out, you want to replenish your muscles with some quick protein. So you don't have to go buy the whey protein. I do just because it's got a high protein count to it, and I need that in my diet because I'm not eating a lot of meat and stuff. But you could do the same thing with like a cup or a single serving of low-fat chocolate milk. It has the perfect combination of sugar and protein and carbs to replenish and heal your muscles. So yeah, you can have chocolate milk. Just make sure it is low-fat and single serving. Don't get one of those big bottles at the gas station because that's about 5 servings. But that, if you work out, no matter when you work out, immediately after working out, you want to replenish with that. About noon, I'll have lunch. I'll concentrate on greens. I'll have a large salad. I'll put vegan chicken in it, or a half cup of quinoa, which is a really good protein source. A little bit of avocado. I don't use salad dressing. I try to stay with olive oil with some sea salt and pepper. In the afternoon, I'll eat a snack of like some almonds and a piece of fruit or a cup of berries. Sometimes I'll have string cheese. But just something healthy just to kind of get me by if you start to feel a little bit tired in the afternoon. About 6 o'clock is when I have dinner. Again, I eat a vegan meal, but if you're a meat eater, concentrate on chicken breasts, like any lean cut of meat, grilled, cut the fat off. You just want a good, clean source of protein. Good carbs, of course, your vegetables. And you can have, like, you know, if you eat potatoes, that's fine, but bake them. Sweet potatoes are a great option, and healthy fats. And I like to have something, a little bit of protein at night before I go to sleep. So about 8:30, sometimes I'll have like a half cup of plain Greek yogurt. You can put some berries in it. I like pomegranate and mango and lime is one of my favorites. It's just something to tide you over, fill you up a little bit before you go to sleep. Next slide. Okay, so implementing exercise into your week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you could perform the high intensity or low intensity routine, and up to 5 times again. Then as you learn new exercises, you can substitute those in, like I told you. Each one of those programs, you should have cardio, upper body, and lower body, and core all implemented in those. So if you're substituting exercises, just make sure you're doing cardio for cardio, upper body for upper body, etc. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you can set aside for your weight training. And again, this could be body weight training, that's fine. And use the internet. Find some more exercises, stream if you can. If you have Netflix or any of those, a lot of the TVs, smart TVs now are coming with exercise programs or stations built in. So see what you can find out there, see what works for you. Variety is best. Next slide. So what can Lions and Leos do? There's so much that we can do to help our communities be healthier. You can sponsor or hold a 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon, kids marathon in your city. You can wear your vests and help distribute water and directions along the route. Make sure you have pamphlets available at the tables. You might even consider, a lot of times they'll give them a bag at the end of the race. You might put something in that. Start a walking club. It's always safest to walk in groups. So, you know, walking clubs would be a great way to invite people to share the great things that you're doing in your community. Invite people that are in your neighborhood and just start a walking club. Just gives you a great time to talk about Lions and be healthy. You can hold a virtual walk or run. I will tell you, I've done so many of these during the pandemic. They've really kept me motivated and going. I just finished the Ring of Kerry, running the Ring of Kerry Conqueror event, which was 125 miles. And I just got this really pretty medal in the mail today, just actually right before we started this. So, you know, you can do something very simple like that. It's virtually cost your club nothing to run the virtual event. And you can just purchase, you know, medals or some sort of, you know, something to let people know that they participated. It turns out it's usually not actually a race because there's too many ways to manipulate the information you're putting into the program, but just have it for fun. You can plant a community garden and give out the vegetables to your neighbors. Participate in health fairs. Any health fairs that your city or town has. Set up a table and offer diabetes screenings. That's something that we do quite often. Speak to local youth groups. Call your schools, churches, scout groups, whatever, and talk to them about healthy lifestyles. Maybe even do like a healthy food demonstration. We've seen them done with smoothies and how to make a really healthy, kid-friendly kind of snack, how to do that healthy so they have something to take home with them. Also, some clubs, I know Bird Island Lions, they purchase a basket of locally grown organic fruit and veggies from a farmer here, and they raffle it off at their meetings. Next slide. So I'm always available to answer questions. I know it's not always easy to learn this kind of stuff online like this, but you can always email me, and we'll put that in the comment section. You can always email me if you have any questions or something you don't understand. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. Be happy to answer them. So can we get slides and contact information? Yes, we'll put that in there. I'd be more than happy to share this presentation. You can we can email it to you. No problem.
Thank you so much, Lion Lori and Lion Bree, for helping out. I see we do have a question here. I don't know if we want to spotlight this from Lion Versha, who's asking, how can we build muscle quicker if they are diabetic? And do you suggest using a protein shake to assist in that?
Yeah, and one thing you need to be really careful with, there's a difference between protein powder and protein shakes. If you buy something called a protein shake, very often it's very high in sugar. It's kind of junk. You want to stay away if it's labeled protein shake. Look for a protein powder, usually 100% whey, W-H-E-Y. Whey protein is one of the cleanest, best forms. Comes in so many different flavors. You'll never miss all the bad stuff. And it's usually right around 20 grams of protein per scoop. So it's a really good, quick, easy way to get some added protein.
So we are, I think, still waiting on some questions from the chat. Once again, if you have a question for Lion, Lori, or any of our speakers for that matter, please feel free to drop it into the chat either on YouTube and Facebook. I think I have a question kind of diverting from the topic of diabetes because your journey is so interesting. Can you talk about how you have gotten involved in Lions, how you joined the Lions Club over 22 years ago?
Yeah, I actually... my grandfather was a Lion. They met over the noon hour, and he came. I was in 5th or 6th grade at the time. He came and picked me up at school one day, surprised me, came over the noon hour, picked me up, took me to his lunch meeting. They had like a special guest day. And I just, you know, I always say I don't think I knew what Lions were. I didn't understand what they were talking about at the meeting. I didn't know why they were wearing those funny vests and jackets, and I didn't know anything about it, but I just know that they treated me so special that day. And it was just this time with my grandfather, and I felt so special. And, you know, after that, I would help him sell tickets at the county fair or, you know, sell their nut rolls, whatever they were doing. He always asked if I wanted to do that with them. And that was really my start. And I will say that meeting, they had a raffle, and I won a set of steak knives. And again, I was 5th or 6th grade. He took me back to school with my steak knives. I remember showing them to my class. I put them in my locker. You couldn't do that now. And I always laugh about that. I was like, I would have been expelled if we did that now. But yeah, I won my very first Lions raffle. I still have that set too.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Lion Lori. I think the chat is being a little bit shy today, except that one question we received before. But I think that we'll definitely, with your permission, forward your contact information in case they have anything after the session. I think it's been a great presentation. I certainly learned a lot, and I hope that our attendees have as well. Thank you so much, Lion Lori, and I hope to reconnect with you in the future.
Thank you.
So without further ado, I think we've had a great presentation thus far, this symposium. I'd like to now turn it over to another speaker who's going to talk to us about how we can manage diabetes using yoga. That speaker is Lion Payal Banerjee, who's currently living in New Jersey. A yoga instructor, she grew up seeing her mother and grandma doing yoga many times, and she was very inspired by that. Other than yoga, music also makes me want to go on in life. It makes her want to go in life. For her, music and yoga are equally important. Before, she used to do yoga for fun or as a hobby, but ever since the pandemic hit us, she's been looking at yoga from a very different perspective. When she does yoga by herself or with others, it makes her feel calm, relaxed, and happy. I think that she's included a quote here, which I found very impactful as well. I think it'll benefit all of us to hear. It's a quote by BKS Iyengar. One of her favorite all-time quotes is, "Yoga does not transform the way we see things. It transforms the person who sees." So without further ado, over to you, Lion Payal.
Thank you so much, Ojas. Thanks a lot. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Hope you all are doing great and enjoying your life. So, yes, today on diabetic yoga, diabetic all together. So we're going to see some yoga asana and at the same time some pranayama. But before moving to that, I want to talk a little bit about yoga, what actually yoga is. And definitely yoga is an exercise that we do, but at the same time, it is actually a lifestyle. It is not only an exercise, it is a lifestyle. And yoga helps us to keep ourselves calm, to keep our mind peaceful, content. But at the same time, yoga works from the core. And it improves definitely our immunity, and it helps to connect the bond between the mind and the body, which is very, very important to understand what and at what time, what our body is trying to say. Lots of time we miss that communication, and with the help of yoga, we can get there slowly. So in today's yoga, we work more on pancreas because pancreas produces insulin, and that insulin helps to circulate the glucose in the body. And yoga helps to activate the pancreas. And with the help of that, it helps to deliver the correct amount of insulin in the entire body. So in short, yoga is helpful in every aspect of our life. So let's start our yoga sequences. Let's see the yoga sequences. Can we have the video, please? So we'll start with the little warm-up. Just sit, relax your body. If you cannot sit on a floor, you can take a cushion. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in again, breathe out. Now, while breathing out, bring your head down. And while breathing in, bring your head up. Again, exhale, bring your head down. Inhale, hands up. Tilt your head to the right. Come to the center. Tilt your head to the left. Come to the center again. One more time. All right. If you cannot sit on a floor comfortably, you can take a cushion or a pillow and you can sit on that. Just make sure your back is straight and you're doing it correctly. Side by side. Now we are going to the first asana, that is half Lord Fish pose. Ardha Matsyendrasa. Yes. Can we have the first asana video, please? We are done with this. Half Lord Fish pose. Yes. So bring your leg forward and relax your leg. Back straight, tuck in. Tuck your left heel under your right hip. Place your right heel next to your left knee. After getting the balance, place your left elbow against your right knee and form a namaste. Yes. So the pressure which develops by pressing the elbows helps to push the knee back and stay there. Relax. Can we go to the next video? Seated forward bend. Extend your leg forward. Keep your back straight. Breathe softly and relax your body. In this pose, we have to exhale and pull your tummy in, down, go forward. Try to hold your fingers. If you cannot reach there, it's fine. Just hold on wherever you can, or you can take a cloth or any kind of jumping rope or anything, just for support. Yes. You can sit on a cushion if you're not comfortable on the floor, and you can do all this yoga asana while sitting on a cushion or a comfortable pillow. That is also absolutely fine. Now let's go to the third one, downward facing dog, Adho Mukhi Svanasana. Come to this position, keep your feet and palm on the floor. Exhale and hold there. If you need to breath, look up and breathe. And again, exhale and look down. Head between your arm, toes, and heels remain on the ground. You may feel a little stretch feeling on your calf muscles. That's absolutely fine. Sit down and relax. Now, let's move on to the fourth asana, hand to foot pose, that is Padhastasana. Stand, shoulders relax, raise your arms up. Exhale fully, tuck your tummy in, and gradually brings your arms down. Try if you can touch the mat, but if you can't, it's absolutely fine. Just stay wherever you are. Slowly come up and relax. Our last asana is child pose, that is Balasana, Bal Asana. Join your leg together and sit in a Vajrasana or diamond pose. This is the only pose that we can do after eating, after lunch or dinner. We should actually sit like this after lunch or dinner. It's very good for the digestion. Turn your back side by side. Prepare for this asana. You can perform with the pillow or cushion as well. Now tuck in your tummy again while exhalation. Bend forward. Hands up. Bend forward. Stay there. And then slowly come up and relax. These are the 5 asana that we do, and it's very, very helpful. So please try to do that. And now we are going to do pranayama. That also helps a lot in diabetes. So first we'll start, sit back, sit in a Sukhasana. If you're not comfortable again on the floor, please take a pillow or a cushion. Comfortably sit on that cushion, your hands on your knees, palms upward. Breathe in and breathe out through your mouth. And the second pranayama. Second pranayama is Anulom Vilom pranayama. So in this, with your thumb, block your right nostril and inhale through your left nostril. Now close both the nostrils and exhale through your left. Again, inhale through the right, block, exhale through the left. This is the process of doing Anulom Vilom Pranayama. I hope you all like it. Please do yoga, please do pranayama. It helps you a lot. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Take good care of yourself. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Lion Payal. Today's session has been absolutely extraordinary. Unfortunately, that is going to bring us to the end. Our last speaker for today is going to be delivering the vote of thanks. But before that, we have a video from Lions Multiple District 34, the Alabama Lions, who are teaching children to beat diabetes.
A pound is a Pilates-based workout.
So it's kind of like a jam session. You just gotta kind of rock out to your favorite songs while you work out.
And we also get to work out using drumsticks.
Lions Clubs International has partnered with the football team here at the University of Alabama, the Peach Bowl, and the school system here in Tuscaloosa to promote defeating diabetes by living healthy lifestyles.
I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 9 years old. Thought my life was over, thought sports was over for me. But as you can see, I'm still living out my dreams, playing football and baseball at the University of Alabama.
It's always a great time to connect with students and teach them how to exercise because that'll just lead to a healthier lifestyle.
I want to tell y'all what exactly diabetes is. We're seeing a rise in type 2 diabetes in children, mostly because we're seeing a rise in obesity. And that has mostly to do with the kids are not getting the exercise outside of school that they need.
Going outside and playing 30 minutes a day or more, that's very important. Limiting that screen time to an hour, maybe a day, that's really important because we want kids to be up and moving more.
it's an opportunity for us to share with the community that with proper education, good food choices, medication management, that they can still have productive lives.
I just want to give a message to all the kids that have diabetes. Keep living, control your blood sugars. You can do anything. Don't let this stop you.
It definitely inspires me because, I've had family members who've had it, so I know that it's important for me to do its best to take care of myself.
If we focus on eating healthy and working out right now while we're still young, we can help ourselves in the future.
Our goal as Lions is to improve the quality of life for all of those who have diabetes.
Thank you so much to the Lions of Alabama and Lions Clubs International for that very inspiring video. Now we're going to move on to the vote of thanks, and before I introduce the giver of our vote of thanks, I'd like to say and invite you all to join us again on April 3rd for the second part of this symposium, where we're going to be joined by Rutgers University's Diabetes Self-Management Program, where hopefully we can answer some of the questions that went unanswered in this session. I think as was discussed in this session, please register your attendance at the link below, and it's also probably in the YouTube and Facebook chats, to claim your attendance certificate that certifies you attended today's session. And of course, to register for the April 3rd session, it should be the same link at diabetes.lionsconnect.org. Once again, that's diabetes.lionsconnect.org. And without further ado, I would like to turn it over to Lion Anju Puri to deliver our vote of thanks.
Thank you, Jess. I just like watching and hearing all the speakers. What an amazing presentation. I think the wealth of knowledge that everybody has shared with us today to help us raise the awareness of diabetes, and more important, for providing us all the tools, some actionable steps that we can take along with us to better help us manage the chronic disease that we are talking about today. So thank you all. I do want to remind, like Ojas just did, this is a 2-day event. We will be coming back on April 3rd when we have speakers lined up throughout the day, covering topics from type 1 diabetes, focusing on the juvenile aspects of this disease. And we will have speakers from Rutgers University who will provide deeper insights into prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. We will also get into specifics of nutrition, menu planning, as well as getting into regional specific menu planning. So look forward to coming back on April 3rd. If you haven't marked your calendars, I suggest you do so right now. And with that, with the wrap up, I do want to take a few minutes to recognize lots of people who were instrumental in bringing this symposium together. First of all, thank you to all the speakers, the presenters who made tonight's presentation very, very exciting. PCC, Jeff, Gans, and VDG Varsha Nayak for your very, very touching and, for very touching opening remarks. Leo, Lion, Dr. Abhijit Acharya, you provided us with excellent information. The presentation on diabetes was very well put together. And Lion Lori Sheehan for lots of wonderful nuggets on fitness, which I'm sure, as I was looking at the comments, a lot of people have appreciated. So thank you for that. Lion Payal Banerjee for relaxing and soothing yoga exercises that you shared with us. Thank you for that. And with that, I want to move on to thanking our sponsors for tonight. Andy Plaza Pharmacy. We heard earlier, Lion Sham Nilam is also sponsoring 100 free glucometers for patients with diabetes. We have Meena Upadhyay, Pooja Amit, and Lion Jyoti Sani. Many thanks for all the support for this event. And I do want to thank our, Lion Mahesh Chitnis, first of all. He is the PCC of MD16 Area Leader at Global Action Team. Lion Mahesh always is a great member and always is there to coordinate things, never shy of offering any type of help. I was very lucky to have partnered with him on this particular symposium, putting together this symposium, and his vision and leadership is totally commendable. I want to thank you, Lion Mahesh. Thank you to all the Lion clubs that came together along with the affiliated Leo clubs that we have to put this diabetes program together. So Edison Visionary Lions Club, Menlo Park Lions Club, Old Bridge Visionary Lions Club, New Jersey Fitness Lions Club, and Middlesex Visionary Lions Club. Thank you for your contributions. I do have to thank all the volunteers that are highlighted on the screen, but I did want to point out, Ojas, you did a wonderful job in hosting this program and keeping it all together. And with that, I sincerely hope and think that lots of people who have joined us today did enjoy the speakers. We do encourage you to come back on April 3rd and bring along other people, because what you're going to get on the 3rd is a variety of program, all-day program, which will focus on many aspects of diabetes. So have a good night, and we will see you back on April 3rd. Thank you.